As a kid that grew up in a middle-class home in one of the richest countries in the world, I have never experienced living in the ghetto, struggling to live in the streets with a lot of pressure on my back trying to steer away from danger, to then later escaping from the gang culture and separating oneself from the streets. This is what Kendrick talks about on the track Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, which is in my opinion one of the greatest hip-hop songs ever, if we're not including you. So what's this song about? What makes this song so special and how does it captivate you with the storytelling? Well, let's analyze. Before starting this video, I would like to say thank you all so damn much for the insanely positive response for the video about you. You guys are the best. And I apologize for not uploading this video earlier. I've had other ideas in my mind. I've also been busy with school as I'm still a young boy going to school. I'm also making a little short film at school with my friends, and I'm also making an album. But anyways, here I am. Here is the video. I love you all. Let's get on with it.
See, you young men are dying of thirst.
Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst is a track from Kendrick Lamar's critically acclaimed 2012 album Good Kid, M.A.A.d City. This song clocks in at a little over 12 minutes and is said by many to be one of the greatest Kendrick/hip-hop songs of all time. The track is split into two parts, and as mentioned in the intro, is all about the life in the ghetto, trying to escape from the gang culture in the streets to live a life outside of all the pressure. The first part is told over a minimalistic beat from three different perspectives. Dave's brother from the continuation of the swimming pool skit where Dave gets killed, Keisha's sister who is mad at Kendrick for talking about Keisha on Section 80, and then Kendrick talking about how he doesn't know what will happen next in his grief-filled life. So let's go a little bit deeper. In the chorus, Kendrick uses the light turning off and going to sleep as a metaphor of death, then telling the listener that when he dies that his story shall be told or that he shall be remembered in some form or way. In this case, it's his music. The first verse in his song is sort of a continuation of another popular Kendrick song, Swimming Pools. In that song, a man named Dave gets killed, leading to his brother looking for retaliation. This first verse is then all about Dave wanting to tell Kendrick how important it was for him that Kendrick showed so much respect for Dave when he was alive. Dave's brother explains also the situation of when Dave died and how Kendrick held him till Dave was dead. Even though Kendrick couldn't do anything to prevent the death, he was still there to make Dave feel safe and okay, and Dave's brother respects Kendrick extremely much for that. The end of this verse ends with a gunshot, indicating that Dave's brother died from the endless hope of seeking revenge. This character died before the album dropped, and here Kendrick is fulfilling his wish, singing about him. The end line also tells us that if you continue on down the path of violence, it'll end up killing you sooner than expected. Just as Dave's brother. The gunshots heard killing him mid-sentence may symbolize how sudden death can be and how it's hard to give your all when you don't know your final day of living on this earth. The fact that it gets shot after he says I hope may signify the fact there is no hope for people going down this violence-full lifestyle. Kendrick also mentions in M.A.A.d City, if Pyrus and Crips all got along, they probably got me down by the end of this song. For me, this kind of foreshadows this song, especially this verse, as Dave's brother gets murdered so abruptly. The second verse is a continuation of Keisha's song from Section 80, where Keisha's sister talks about how angry she is with Kendrick for talking about Keisha so openly without actually knowing her that well. Keisha's sister talks about how she's living the same life and is safe and proud of how her life is, telling Kendrick her sister died in vain and that she is different from all the other women lost in the system. She expresses that she doesn't want to be sung about on the album, in contrast of Dave's brother. In the end of the track, Keisha's sister says she'll never fade away, while the vocals and lyrics literally fade away. Even though she says she knows her fate, she still fades away unexpected. And with Kendrick including her story, he tells the listener again the dangers of prostitution. But what does the fading lyrics actually mean? It could mean many things. Death from a sexual transmitted disease, fading into the prostitution lifestyle like the other fallen women. Maybe it's us walking away from her, or Kendrick walking away as she shows no interest. The third verse is Kendrick talking about the prior verses, including the time before Kendrick made this album, telling us he doesn't know what he will do in the future or what awaits him. Kendrick is struggling heavy with the suicidal thoughts because of how much death and grief he has witnessed in his life so far, and is starting to stress out because of that. He also talks about how the stuff he has witnessed with both Dave's brother and Keisha's sister is realer than any of the shit he's seen on TV. In the end, he tells us all of his songs are dedicated to people in his life who died or suffered, recognizing their pain, praying praying for them, hoping in return that someone will sing for Kendrick when he passes away, just like he's doing with Dave and Keisha. The final line is Kendrick asking someone, possibly God, if the song he made was enough to pay off his sins, or that he realizes that you can't pay off debts, but you can change other people's present moments. The chorus comes in again, and as the song transitions to the second part, we get a skit. These are the homies of Kendrick talking about the aftermath of Dave's death, and the man telling them he is tired of his shit and tired of running is Dave's brother. They all say they want revenge, but their desire for revenge makes them go down a path in which they eventually die of thirst.
Do you want to receive God as your personal Savior?
In this part, we get to understand the deeper thirst of a soul that swimming pools of drinks will never put out. Kendrick then needs to baptize himself in a pool to cleanse himself from the sins. We understand thoroughly that Kendrick is tired of the never-ending cycle of violence and sin that he has to take part in, cause if not, he will be chased by the enemy. You either chase the enemy or let the enemy chase you. The negative factor of everything here is the fact that he's hunting and running after people just like him, struggling with the same stuff and the same mindset. The saying of dying of thirst is about how Kendrick and his homies are very much in need of God in their daily lives. Thirst meaning their need for holy water, baptism. Kendrick is also heavily aware that his sinful behavior has come from the violent activities he has been forced to be a part of. Kendrick actually converted to religion after the death of a close friend, kind of like how the people in the end of this track, including Dave's brother, accept Christianity. Kendrick feels, however, that he's committed far too many sins in his life that he starts to wonder how many of them can be forgiven. In the middle of the second part, Kendrick changes the end line dying of thirst to die your thirst, showing the suggestion of turning your negatives into positives, shining a brighter light on something dark. Kendrick, however, stresses that he only has days later in the second part, where he is at his past, showing how the hood affects certain individuals stuck in the street, not fulfilling their dreams or stay at their highest. Even when it's a beautiful day, many of the problems and stresses from the gang violence located in Compton are still on Kendrick's conscience, causing him to be stressed and pray for forgiveness for the mistakes he may have made without even knowing. He also discusses the afterlife, mentioning the rapture. The rapture in Christianity is the belief that both living and dead believers will ascend into heaven to meet Jesus Christ at the second coming when the earth is at its end. The belief in the rapture emerged from the anticipation that Jesus would return to redeem all members of the church. So if the world ended today via the rapture, only Christians would go to heaven. So Kendrick says to us, live an honest and free life, so when God takes your life, you'll end up in heaven. In these final lines, Kendrick mentions a Bible verse from John 8, where it says, "And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." The truth talked about, which is contained in God's world and his commandments, will set you free from the bondage of sin. The outro of the song is spoken by the late Maya Angelou, who was a legendary poet and author, best known for a series of 7 autobiographies which focus on her childhood and early adult experiences. She was also active in the civil rights movement and worked with Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. The outro tells us the story of Kendrick and his friends being met by an older woman, later in the song Real revealed to be his mother, approaching the boys. The woman sees that one of them is holding a gun and tells them that she doesn't believe that these young men are carrying such a lethal weapon. She tells them how they are all dying of thirst and need to take a new path so they can let Jesus into their lives. They are then led to a prayer which is a rendition of the sinner's prayer, which is an evangelical Christian term referring to any prayer of repentance, prayed by individuals who feel convinced of the presence of sin in their lives and have the desire to form or renew a personal relationship with God through Jesus Christ. This prayer is heard in the start of the album, and at this moment, Kendrick sheds the hood mentality and begins to lead a new life as a newly enlightened version of himself. Considering the chronology of the story, the conversation with this woman occurs shortly after Dave dies and before Dave's brother decides to take revenge. This means that Dave's brother could not be stopped from following the path of revenge that got him killed in the end, despite the old lady's intervention and his conversion. This could be a commentary on how faith cannot always be enough to save the reckless, or how praying is useless if you don't truly have faith. Thank you all for watching this video. Finally, you guys deserve it. You guys deserve it. Again, you guys are the best for the immense and insane response from the You video, and it still doesn't feel real, and I often look at how well the video did and how good of a response I got from it with my jaw open while the beat switch in Nights plays in my head or something. Anyways, if you like this video, leave a like, comment what you think of the video, or if you have any other video recommendations, leave a comment. Share with your friends, family, or neighbor, you name it, and if you want to see more of me and content talking about media such as music, movies, games, or other stuff, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications. So yeah, thank you all for watching and I'll see you later.